Good morning, friends. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. 1 minute. Guys, in the last class, we have discussed Unit 4. Today we'll be discussing Final 1. Let us discuss labor problems within the industry. Okay. In each and every industry, my dear friends, because we are going to have employees working, so there can be certain issues. So let us discuss what are the major industrial labor problems. If the industrial labor problems are not addressed, then the workers will be in trouble, and even the industry is also going to lose their profits, my dear friends. So we can classify the labor problems into two types. The causes for the labor turn out to be in two types. One is avoidable causes, and there are certain things which can be unavoidable. So the avoidable causes can be like shortage of raw material, inadequate planning, determination, employee dissatisfaction of jobs, low remuneration, long working hours, poor working conditions. All these can be avoided, my dear friends. We can plan for the raw material in time. We can have better planning. We can motivate the people, satisfy their requirements. We can also see that we can increase the salaries of the people. All these can be avoidable causes. Then what are the unavoidable causes? This may not be the fault of the management, but there are other factors which are going to create the problem. It can be like a personal betterment. People wants to grow in the career. So if the present organization is not going to give the opportunity, they may shift from this organization to the other one, like, or else they may be going attending the interviews and so on. We can also have domestic affairs. These are unavoidable, like it may be marriage. Each and every person wants to get married, or else if they got married, the lady can be pregnant. There can be accidents. There can be migration, misbehavior, housing or transport problems, and so on. All these are unavoidable in one's life. Now let us discuss the elements of labor problem. The first one is economic factors. It is one of the major issue which we find in the industries. Each and every individual wish to work so that they can have a sufficient money, they can earn sufficient money, and they can have a decent life. It may be possible. Everyone aspire, whether it's possible or not doesn't matter. But so their main point of labor problem revolves around the wages of the individuals, the working conditions, hours of work, job tenure, and so on, my dear friends. Anything which is related with the salary or with the wages and so on, all this comes under economic factors. Then the next one is psychological factors. Each and every employee unions try to negotiate, bargain with the management so that all the issues pertaining to the labor, like wages, working conditions, job tenure, and so on, all this can be addressed. The main aim of these labor unions is to protect the welfare of the employees, my dear friends. Hence, these unions provide psychological support to the employees. The workers' satisfaction is not purely based on the wages or working condition, but also depends how they are going to feel, how they are going to enjoy the work within the organization. Self-satisfaction and sense of importance is very, very important within the organization. Without these two, my dear friends, the job becomes monotonic life. That means there are chances that people may not work efficient. The third one is the social factors. We must have seen that there is a huge gap between the employers and the employees. It may be for multiple reasons. With the large scale industries, the employers are going to employ more employees, which is going to decrease the importance of the working class people because more people are there. But at the same time, most of the employees who have been hired to various socio and economical sections with different backgrounds and experiences may increase the gap between the people. So this is also one of the problem for absenteeism, alcoholism, and turnover, my dear friends. So we can classify the problems into three types. One is economical, second one is psychological factors, and the third one is social factors. Now let us discuss about absenteeism. It is nothing but it is a practice of being away from the workplace. We call it as absenteeism. According to Labor Bureau, which was held at Shimla, absenteeism is a total man shifts lost because of absence as a percentage of the total number of man shifts scheduled to work. So it is simple, my dear friends. The rate of absenteeism may vary from 7% to 30%. From industry to industry, it may not be the same. And it also varies from the nature of work. So they have seen that the absenteeism is low uh, in smart works, and the absenteeism is hugely high in the tasks which require more muscle power. So here, let us see the some of the studies what they have revealed. Absenteeism is higher before and after holidays because they will be planning to go here and there, or else they must have consumed alcohol and so on. Like absenteeism is always higher before the holidays and after the holidays. Next one is bad weather, which may increase the rate of absenteeism. We must have seen during the monsoon time, or else during hot summers, like people may not feel to work efficiently or effectively. So bad weather increases the rate of absenteeism. Then we find more absenteeism among female employees than the male employees, my dear friends. Children who are below the age or employees below the age of 25 years and above the age of 55 years are more absent, are seen to be more absent compared with the rest of the people. Young people below 25 years, because they do not have much responsibility to take on. So obviously they'll be enjoying with their friends and so on. That may be the reason. Whereas workers above 55 years, they will be having health issues. They have to take care of the responsibility of the family and so on, because their children may be completing their graduation, or else they may be looking for marriage and so on. Like, so that can be the factors. So employees below 25 and above 55 years are more absent compared with the workers between the age group of 25 to 50, in between 25 to 55. Then operative employees are more absent because they are going to operate. That means there will be a lot of stress or fatigue. So in order to relax the muscles, in order to remove the stress, they may be absent to the organization. Now let us discuss the causes for absenteeism. One is nature of work, poor working conditions, which is going to affect the health of the workers. Then we have the absence of leave facility. If we do not have a proper leave facility, so people without informing, they may be absent to the job. Then accidents, it may be within the industry or outside the industry, or occupational diseases and so on, may also increase absenteeism. Then the poor control by production and material control may lead to absenteeism. Besides this, absence of transport facilities, lack of interest, industrial fatigue and low wages, absence of inadequate welfare facilities, indebtedness, attraction for village life. Because if you go to the village, you will find a lot of people, relatives, friends, and so on. So the life is entirely different compared with that of the urban areas or towns. Because of the attraction of village life, alcoholism and gambling habits. Like we also have unsatisfactory housing conditions, because after the work they have to go back to the area, back to their house, and they have to reside there. So if you do not have a proper housing facility, or people are going to reside in the slum areas, it may lead to high morbidity, or it may lead to health issues, my dear friends. And miscellaneous causes can be bad weather, personal business, friends, religious and social gatherings, and so on. All these are the causes for absenteeism. So, what should be done to control absenteeism? Let us discuss them. So, first one, when we are going to select the person to the job, we need to select the right person for the right job, my dear friends. And while assigning the works, also we have to see the interests of the individuals, and we have to allot the duty, my dear friends. Then we have to create the better working conditions. If you see the best software industries across the world, they say that it's not like 9 to 5 office. From morning 00 hours to midnight 24 hours, you are free to work. You have to work for 8 hours. Whether you work continuously from 00 hours to 8 o'clock, or it's up to you. They have the ultimate freedom. If the person is not interested, or is not having the mood to work at the time, they also give ultimate freedom for the people. They also give ultimate freedom for the people to take a small nap or take a break, and so on, my dear friends. So people are going to give multiple opportunities, uh, especially in the so-called corporate sectors. So creating better working conditions. Next one is provision of pick and drop, provision of nothing but transport facilities, also providing housing facilities, and so on. Then we have the incentive bonus to regular employees. If any person is going to be absent or only without taking prior permission, then there must be certain disciplinary actions too. Then we need to have prevention. We have to take care of accidents. Accidents are the major problem. Sometimes the workers may be um, absent for 2 or 3 days, but sometimes accidents can also make them permanently disabled, my dear friends, which will be the burden on the workers' family as well as on the industry, because the industry need to pay the compensation. So our duty is to prevent the accidents within the industry. Then we require effective supervision. Then our duty is to also grant the leaves uh, or permissions during the holidays. We also need to counsel the employees, provide proper guidance, can work efficiently, they can manage their behavior, and so on. And then we also need to ensure that there is a proper relation between the employers and the employees, or between the supervisors and the workers. If people are going to have a healthy bond, then they can share their views freely. They can discuss their problems with the supervisor. It doesn't mean that the supervisor is going to address all the issues, but if you are going to share the problems, my dear friends, the intensity or the burden of that may be reduced, my dear friends. So this is about absenteeism. Now there is one more problem, that is alcoholism and drug abuse, which is also one of the problems in the industry. Uh, Alcoholism is nothing but people are going to uh, lose the control over intake of alcoholism, my dear friends. Once they start consuming alcohol, there is no end for that, my dear friends. So when people are going to be in toxic mood, or if they are going to consume alcohol, then they become non-judgmental, and they are not going to cooperate with the employees, or else they lack coordination when people are going to take excess drug or alcohol. And it is seen as a serious problem among industrial laborers or workers. So people workers think that consuming alcohol is going to reduce their tension. It is going to reduce their anxiety, reduce the fatigue or the frustration. But my dear friends, whenever they have the social, economical, psychological, or health or any issues, the easiest way to get out of all these issues is to consume alcohol. That is what the workers feel like. Overconsumption of alcohol leads to health problems like kidney, liver, heart problems, and so on. It may also disorganize the health of the individuals, and also disorganize the family life too, my dear friends. So this about the labor problems. Now let us discuss about various labor programs or schemes designed by the respective by the government to address the problems. There was a session held at New Delhi. It was ILO session, International Labour Organization session, uh, held in the year 1947. It defined that labor welfare is such services or facilities and amenities which may be established in or in the vicinity of undertakings to enable persons employed therein to perform their work in healthy conjugal surroundings and to provide them with amenities conducive to good health and good morale. So they said that we are going to provide certain facilities or amenities within the industry or nearby to the industry where people can work effectively and they can be healthy, my dear friends. Our duty is to ensure a conducive environment. Now, let us discuss the characteristics of labor welfare. It is provided within the industrial premises. It is beyond the wages and of the workers. It is to help the overall development of the personality of the employees. It may be social, psychological, economical, moral, or any way, my dear friends. And these are voluntarily provided by the industry to the workers as a part of responsibility. It provides certain things, activities like medical aid, stretchers, baby care centers, canteens, recreation, housing, and so on, my dear friends. So all these are going to happen within the industrial premises. Now let us discuss the scope of the labor welfare schemes. The government of India has appointed a study team in the year 1959 to examine the welfare activities and they have divided these welfare activities into three groups, my dear friends. Welfare within the establishment, within the industry, like medical aid, crèches, canteens, supply of drinking water, restrooms, and so on. Second one is welfare outside the establishment, like indoor and outdoor recreation, housing facility for the employees, education for the employees and the children, visual instructions, and so on. And the third one is social security. So the team has divided the scope into three areas: welfare within the industry, outside the establishment, and social security. Now let us discuss the types of welfare activities. The first one is economic welfare programs. So besides the salaries or wages, we are also going to provide uh, pension facilities, insurance coverage to the family. During certain periods, people also may require some money. Instead of depending on the money lenders, the industry is also going to provide credit facilities to the workers, provide bonus schemes, also have this pick and drop, nothing but the transport facility, and so on. All these are indirectly or directly going to be saving their money or helping them in some or the other way. So that's the reason we call it as economic welfare schemes. The second one is recreational programs. Uh, because of a routine life, my dear friends, the people get sick, my dear friends, and they will not be able to work efficiently. So in order to remove the stress, my dear friends, the industry may provide recreational facilities like TV room where they can go and relax for a time, or else we have indoor or outdoor game facilities, or else we have a common room for employees where they can go and relax. Sometimes in order to recreate the people and also motivate the people, we must have come across, like, if you're going to reach so and so target, we have America trip to America or a trip to Singapore and so on. So we can also have the tours for the employers. Sometimes they also organize the meetings not in the office itself, but in some places other than the office at different places, so that they can also get recreated, my dear friends, and also work. Sometimes we may also provide paid vacation for the employees along with the family members too. All this comes under recreational program. Now let us discuss about facilitative programs. Uh, if we want our employees to work effectively and efficiently, then we need to take up certain programs like work environment facilities. It tries to ensure that we have proper ventilation, proper lighting system, regulation of temperature, and so on. And in each and every industry, we will find that there will be dust or smoke. And we need to ensure that if the gases or smoke is there in the room for longer period, it leads to frustration. It leads to health issues. So we need to have a proper system where all the smoke or gases can be exhausted from the room. Then we need to have convenience and comfort during work, operative posture, sitting arrangements, and so on. And we need to have a proper rest time, meal time, or break so that people can work. And we have workman safety measures, clock room, restrooms, library, and so on. All this comes under work environment facilities. Besides this, we also have canteen, restroom, and lunchroom, provision of urinals, lavatories, bathing facilities, provision of safe drinking water, and so on. The third can be medical facilities. In each and every industry, each and every industrialist dream, worship that there must not be any industrial accidents. Even then, for some or the other reason, there can be some accidents within the industry, or else people can be sick or something like. So the duty of the industry is also to provide medical facilities so that people's health can be in good condition so that they can work efficiently. So we have medical leaves, maternity leaves that are paid. Then we have reimbursement of medical expenses. Then we have the health center within the industrial premises. And we also require health education, medical examination of the workers. Besides this, we also require housing facility, providing housing facility for the people, or else providing house rent allowance, or providing loans to the employees so that they can construct their house, or else they can purchase a house or a flat, and so on. Then we have the washing facilities, educational facilities for the employees to upgrade their skills, and also educational facilities for the employees' children, and so on. Then we have leave travel concession. When people are going to move from one place to the other place, we are going to provide a reimbursement of actual fares, or else we are going to provide concession in terms of bus pass and train pass, and so on. All these are the benefits of welfare activities provided by the industrialist. Now let us discuss about welfare amenities under various labor acts. Employees are required to supply various welfare amenities. The first one is, according to the Factory Act, which came into existence in the year 1948, Section 42 to Section 49. They have mentioned about specific provisions meant for the welfare of the employees. According to Section 42, the duty of the industry is to provide washing facility, because they'll be working with the industries. They may have oil, grease to the body, everything. So we need to have a washing facility so that they can wash the clothes right there itself. According to Section 43, facilities for storing and drying clothes. Section 44 talks about occasional sitting or rest for employees. Then we also require first aid box if any organization is going to have nearly 150 plus employees. And if there are 150 employees, we require ambulance facility also, my dear. Sorry. If we need to have ambulance facility also, my dear friends, if you are going to have 500 employees working according to Section 45. Then we require a canteen facility if there are minimum 250 employees as per Section 46. Section 47 talks about shelters, restrooms, lunch rooms, and so on. If we are going to have at least 150 members working in the organization, as per Section 48, if there are at least 30 women working within the organization, there must be a crèche or a baby care center. And as per Section 49, we require an industrial welfare officer if there are minimum 500 people or more working in the industry, to understand their problems and address them in time. So all these are the welfare amenities being provided under the Factories Act of 1948. Now let us discuss the Plantation Act of 1951. It says that if there are 150 people, workers, then canteen facility, 50 or more women, then a baby care center, recreational facilities for the workers as well as for the children, and educational arrangements for the children who are in between the age group of 6 to 12 years, housing facility for the plantation workers, medical aid workers, medical aid to the workers, welfare officer if there are at least 300 people working. And according to the Mines Act 1951, If we are going to have at least 50 or more people working, then we require a shelter so that people can go and have the food, take some rest during the intervals, and so on. Then minimum 150 people, then we require first aid boxes, 250 workers, then we require a canteen facility, then we 50 or more women, a baby care center or crèche center, provision for restroom, welfare officer if there are minimum 500 people working. This about the Mines Act. So all these acts, my dear friends, are going to talk about various welfare programs. And the Employee State Insurance Act of 1948, it talks about providing leaves because if a person is sick or disabled, or if the lady is pregnant, or if the person is old, if the person is unemployed, then it is going to lead to the financial loss. The Employee State Insurance Act provides certain benefits to the employees in case of sickness, maternity, employment injury, uh, and so on, my dear friends. It also provides benefits to the insured persons like medical benefit, sickness benefit. If a person met with an accident and is temporarily or permanently disabled, we also have disablement benefit. Then we have maternity and dependence benefit too. Then let us discuss the Payment of Gratuity Act of 1972. According to this, if any establishment or industry has minimum 10 or more people working for continuous 12 months, then those people are eligible for this gratuity. The Gratuity Act enforces the payment of gratuity, a reward for long service for the people who are being retired. Who has every employee who has completed 5 years of or more service in a particular wage is entitled for certain benefits at the time of super implement, my dear friends. So, according to the Payment of Gratuity Act of 1972. Then we also have Employees Provident Fund and Miscellaneous Provisions Act of 1952. According to this act, if any organization is going to have 20 or more people, it may be in the central government or anywhere, they are going to provide this Provident Fund, my dear friends. They have to install the Provident Fund for all the employees who are working in that establishment. Then we have the Contract Labor Regulation and Abolition Act of 1970, which came into existence or force in the year 1971, 10 February. The main purpose of this act is to regulate the employment of contractual labor in certain establishments and to provide for abolition of bonded labor. So these are the welfare programs being run in our country. Now let us go for the next lesson. Impact of globalization on industry and labor. In the year 1991, the government of India was forced to go the structural adjustment because we have gone to the World Bank and in International Monetary Fund for loans because at the time the government wants to generate more employment opportunities for the people. But at the time, do you know what happened? They have put on three conditions to the government of India saying that if you are going to implement these three, like liberalization of policies, privatization, globalization, only then we are going to provide the loans under structural adjustment. And the government of India did not have any opportunity. So they were forced to implement the LPG model. So what is this globalization? It is nothing but a new perspective in terms of economy. It is all about free trade in the world. That means any person can manufacture the product anywhere and they can sell their product or sell their technology, sell their ideas, goods or services anywhere across the world, my dear friends. It's nothing but a free move of all these things. Now, let us discuss the impact of globalization on industry. Actually, globalization is going to allow the free trade, isn't it? That means whatever the resources are limited in our community, that can easily come, that can be easily imported. There will not be any taxes. If the taxes are very, very nominal or minimal, then obviously each and every person, irrespective of their economical condition, they can purchase the goods. The goods will be available for each and every section. It is happy, but at the same time, it also has some problems too. So let us discuss both the things. Globalization leads to international integration of goods, labor, technology, and capital. We must have seen when recently when we talked about Balakot, all these things, when we talked about Yuri, you must have watched this movie. The government of India attacked the terrorist camps which are there in the Pakistan territory. But when the missiles are coming from the Pakistan territory, our radar system could work efficiently. It is because of S-400, which we have procured from the Russian government. See, we are going to have international integration of goods, labors, technology, and capital. It also leads to increased demand for the skilled workers. That means people can, if any person has skill, they can, they have huge demand and they can also be getting a job across the world, my dear friends. But it also has its own demerit. That is, it is going to decrease the demand for the workers who have less skills or no skills at all, my dear friends. Then the third one is increased technology and communication facilitates higher education. So if people are highly educated, then only they can do science research, my dear friends, in terms of science and technology. And they can also work with the technology efficiently. So for both the things, these are connected with each other. Then we have ease of travel, which allows free movement of human resources so that they can compete at the international level. Then we have the decentralization of labor market to industry hubs. So these are the major advantages of this globalization in terms of industry. Now let us see the impact of this globalization on industries. First one is, let us discuss the positive effects. The first one is technology transfer. When we have this rapid flights, when we have this agreement, at the time we also put on a condition saying that in the long run, your duty is to transfer not only the technology, but also the information, my dear friends, so that we can assemble our products, we can do the repairs on ourselves or do research on that. India and Russia together, they not only transfer the technology, my dear friends, they also, so in terms of BrahMos. So the biggest advantage is that entrepreneurs and industries are always seeking to improve their technology, which is going to increase the work efficiency and so on. And their main duty is to also ensure that there is low cost, my dear friends, in terms of manufacturing the products. So globalization has helped in terms of this. The next one is people. Who are, because of globalization, people are moving from one place to the other place. So they're going to share their culture, their tradition, their food habits, and everything. So it is also going to give for a cosmopolitan culture, my dear friends. The third one is there is higher demand because demand for what? Demand for development of infrastructure facilities like roads, transport facilities, construction of townships, construction of high-rise residential and commercial buildings, and so on. It is just because of globalization. Even if you see in Vizag, Amravati, and even Hyderabad, my dear friends, we are having these skyscrapers coming because when we have more industries, more people coming, so obviously it has to accommodate for the people in terms of housing, recreation, and so on. So there is a higher demand for providing all the infrastructure facilities. Then we have industrial development and ancillary units. Because when industries are going to come, we also require, there will be a demand for the goods and services. And it also has some allied sectors coming. For example, there is an industry, people are working. So obviously for the people, they can, for recreation, like tea stall may come, clothing shops may come, footwear shops may come. So all the things may indirectly cater to the needs of the people. So we may also have ancillary. For example, there is a textile industry. So there may be a cotton processing unit. There may be a unit which is going to turn the cotton into thread, provide the raw material to the industry, and so on. These kind of industries may also come into existence. Then we have the influence on agriculture because globalization is going to affect the industries directly. At the same time, agriculture sector is going to provide the raw material to the industries. For that reason, we also have the development in the agriculture sector too. And all these are also going to increase the standard of living, my dear friends. It becomes the knowledge creation, centers for knowledge creation, because more people are going to think scientifically. There is a lot of scope for innovation, technology, and so on, my dear friends. People will be investing a lot of money in terms of research and development activities. So these centers, urban centers, are going to become the centers of knowledge. Then we have, to do a lot of research in terms of increase the production, everything. We also have to invest more in the industries. So we have foreign investments coming in the form of foreign direct investments. And whenever the Prime Minister is going across the world, he's asking the NRIs to invest in the Indian companies or in industries, my dear friends. Then, because of this, we are also going to see that we are going to have friendly environment, atmosphere within the industries, and so on. And the government is also going to have liberal policies, which is going to motivate the people to come to India, start their business, provide skilled labor to the required industries, and so on. So all these are the benefits of this globalization. But it also has its own negative effects. Let us discuss them. Recently, American president has visited China. But do you know, whatever the gifts have been given by China, before entering into the aeroplane, all the officials have dropped the gifts there itself near in the Chinese airport, and they came back. Do you know why? They thought that we cannot trust China. They may be using some machines or aids so that they can do jasuji. They can listen to what these people are talking, so that they can also make the strategies based on that. So globalization makes the existing technology obsolete overnight also, because what is right today, the next day it can be outdated tomorrow, my dear friends. Because of free exchange of ideas, information, innovation today, technologies, um, the industries may also incur losses. The next one is unplanned urbanization, which is one of the biggest problem. We must have seen last week, in Mumbai near the railway stop. You must have seen the bulldozers have gone and removed the huts which was put on by the poor people, my dear friends. Uh, because there were a lot of slums, and people who are working in the industries, they want to stay very close to the industrial area. And if their pocket does not permit them, they'll be simply occupying the footpath or the places wherever it is open. So unplanned urbanization is one of the biggest problem. Then we have the hoardings and artificial shortages. Sometimes the products can be there, but people may create artificial shortage so that they can increase the prices, they can raise the prices of the products, and they can make a profit out of it. These are the demerits or the negative effects of globalization, my dear friends. Then let us discuss the impact of globalization on labor. Globalization is going to encourage both immigration as well as emigration. Nothing but people going from our country to the other country, E for exports, emigration, and people coming from various parts to our country, migrating to our country, we call it as immigration. So people coming, going may also influence our industry directly or indirectly. People believe that globalization is going to threaten the wages and jobs, in contradictory by the historical evidence that free trade, along with the labor and capital mobility, improve good welfare and tend to improve national welfare for all countries. Cheaper imports. 1 minute left. Madam, for 5 minutes. Class uh, cheaper imports are also going to increase the size of real total labor compensation, which is going to imply that workers have participated in the benefit of free trade. Potential impact of trade on wages is an issue, um, like outsourcing or offshoring continues to receive a good deal of attention. There is a question right now. Trump is saying that the president of America is saying that we are not going to provide H1 visas. And at one time, he also said that we are going to reduce the number of H1 visas to the Indian people because their percentage is increasing like anything, and it can be a threat to the national security, or else all our money is going outside, or else the Indian government is not going to yield to our pressure, and so on. So always it is going to impact the trade on wages. Then there is a question of how free trade affects the productivity of firms. As productivity improves, those gains, we expect that people are going to gain. But remember that because of globalization, because of availability of more products from different manufactured by different companies, it can also lower the prices, which may decrease the wages of the people. Then third one is that there is issue of labor mobility between countries. So what are the set of rules and regulations? Who can go where? All these things are also. So these are the three major issues when we talk about labor. Now let us discuss the positive impact of globalization on labor. So workers can move from any area, my dear friends, from one country to the other country to pursue better employment opportunities, therein increase their economical condition. Globalization is also going to increase the awareness among the workers so that they can go and sell their labor or skills anywhere, my dear friends. Rapid technological changes may be responsible for abrupt price decline in skill-intensive industries too, than compared with the unskilled labor. Right now, you can see that because of artificial intelligence, both the skilled labor as well as unskilled labor are also facing trouble, my dear friends. So, when we talk about positive, it can be a better standard of living, barrierless policies where people can go anywhere across the world, like then people have awareness, advancement in career prospects, and so on. All these are the positive ones. But it also has its negative impact because, for example, think if a lot of people are migrating to America, what will happen? The natives may be unemployed. So obviously, there can be poverty in that area. High skilled labor may be paid higher, whereas low skilled people, they may be paid very, very meager or very, very less, my dear friends. First one is that. Second one, it may harm the interest of the native workers. Then there can be the problems of assimilation because the native culture and the people who migrated to that area, their culture may be entirely different. It may lead to assimilation problems. Then we have the potential impact on trade on wages. Uh, it may improve the wages, or it may decrease the wages, and so on. Then the employment rate can also be affected. The labor market can also be there can be drops in the manufacturing units, and so on. Recently, you must have seen when the Bangladesh government said that we don't want to have cordial relations with India anymore, and they asked the Indian army people to move away from the base camp. They also gave the helicopter to India, saying that we don't require any of your services. Then all the industries which are run by the Indian people in Bangladesh, they have shut down the market there. They have stopped the production, which has further increased the production process. And we also have income inequalities because the highly skilled are paid highly, whereas unskilled or semi-skilled are paid very, very less. This is what is happening. The next one is immigration is one of the biggest problems. For example, right now, all the so-called Indian people who did their masters or education from IITs, IIMs, or the best medical colleges, they're looking towards America for better opportunities. And people here, we call it as brain drain. All the best people are going abroad. So obviously, there can be a problem in India, my dear friends. So these are the negative problems of the globalization on labor. By this, we have completed the fifth year block, my dear friends. If you have any doubts, you are free to ask, or else we'll conclude. Okay, guys. Chalo, have a nice day. All the best for your exams.